Hi there and welcome to Bustthenet. This is a show I like to call Game Changer where I jump into your save and offer some suggestions. I've got this save, it's first time I'm doing something with the Greek Super League. And I've got a challenging save actually from Andrew Drugos. He's managing his club and his goal is he wants to make them a Champions League powerhouse. Now, first things first, it's a tall order, especially when you're in one of the lesser nations, right? So, I'm not trying to look down on Greece, but you've got different tiers, and this affects the new gens that come into the system. So, you can expect more superstars to appear in Spain than you would in Greece. The first thing you want to do with a club like this is let's just forget analyzing the club. Let's talk about if you want to get to that stage, what do you have to do? You basically have to have a very good scouting network, very good training facilities. You've got to make yourself the best place to generate talent within your own country. So that's the first thing that you do. So you got to put yourself in that position. And the downside, the thing is, it's very challenging to get yourself into that position because it's going to cost you money. To be at the top of your game, you're looking at £10 million a year. So how do you get to that position? Finances, you can see your overall balance 577, your projection right now for your profit, right? Turnover 12.7 for your profit, not expecting a lot. You're operating at a loss, so that's not really healthy because it does affect your likelihood that you can actually develop your own facilities. So the first thing you do is you always have to work on the basis that you need a very good scouting network. You need to be able to find youngsters, preferably free. Yeah, free signings. You gotta look out for free signings. You can't afford to pay money for players. So you gotta sign players on the free. So you're looking out for your transfer. Your filters have to be set up. You're not your when you're looking for players, you're basically looking for a whole bunch of players that fit a certain category, right? You can't afford to pay for them because most of them you won't be able to afford anyway, right? So you're looking to sign players who are willing to come to your club for a minimum amount, right? So when you set up your filters, contract status is expired is a very good way to start. The other one is add condition. The other one you can do is value, right? So you set the value 0. And you don't have to look at contract status expired now. Now this is going to show you every single player in the world that's got a value of 0. Then you work on certain attributes. You want to, okay, let's just put it this way. You're looking at bravery and determination as being one of the main attributes. I'll explain why this is important, especially for a team that's trying to punch above his weight. First up, if you're looking for young players to come into your team, they're going to go into your under 17s, your under 19s. You need decent determination. I mean, you don't have all the time in the world to mentor somebody low determination and bring them up. You can, of course, but the problem is when you sign all the low determination players, a lot of bad apples will turn your little good apples in your barrel bad. So you definitely want to try and be very selective about who you sign. So that's the first thing that you do. So you go out there, you make sure that you have the play. You can go out there and bring as many players as you can. So your scouting filters have to be set up. Bravery, determination, 2 right up there. What is the value they're looking for? Minimum 10. Don't be too aggressive. Don't go out there and go like 15, 20. I want 15 bravery. No. Let's be simple. Let's go for 10 first. And then you raise the bar. Right. So what positions are you looking for? And I can tell you one thing. I was analyzing, and this comes with hindsight. I've already played 3 of your games. And frankly speaking, to be able to get from point A to where you want to go, it's going to take you about 4 seasons. I'm not joking. It's going to take you a while. Because first up, you got to become a selling club. You got to start being, your players have to be good enough for other people to come knock on the door and say, we want your player because he looks damn bloody good. So they're not gonna be in demand if your players aren't performing well. So they've got to be up there, scoring goals. You've got to be creating chances. They've got to be defensively solid. And if you've already played like how many matches this season, right? So you've played like 6 matches, goals 2, 4, 6. You played 6 matches and scored 6 goals. This is going to be typical for your team? Why? Because your team doesn't have fantastic scorers. Now, if I'm looking just at your strikers here. We just look at your strikers right now. We've got a whole bunch of strikers. We've got Campesis. Finishing, composure, bravery, low. Can be played on the flanks. Okay, so maybe we can play him as a poacher. Omri Altman. Composure low, balance low, cannot shift on the challenge. not good enough. Yanis Latrudis, okay, not too bad. Acceleration a bit low. Will take some time to get into the opposition area. Won't explode into space. When he does, he's going to have players on him. Question marks will then be whether or not he's willing to hold on the ball. But he can definitely turn and pass it on to somebody, so he can play on support. You could play him on attack, but he's going to be caught. But definitely a player that you have to develop. So I'm looking at a lot of your players and something is there, jumping up at me, right? So here you got balance is an issue, anticipation is an issue, concentration is an issue, bravery is an issue. Then you got Macheda, 28 years old, probably the oldest player of your team is probably going to start all your games because first up, you're forced into keeping him, but he wants to leave the club, so his negative is going to affect your matches as you go forward. So you might end up having to, he wants to go. And who do you play instead? You probably end up playing only Gamechangers. Now that's the only player you have left, right? So you got to develop him. 20 years old. Now, then when we look at your midfielders, something jumped out at me when I was looking at midfielders. I'm just going to look at something. I'm going to bring up the support DNA. I'm looking at bravery. Where is I don't think I have bravery here. Yeah, I don't have bravery in support. So we got bravery here. So the number of players that you have who are willing to do something with the ball, bombing the challenge aren't a lot. So you got Latruis, Donis, this guy, Almeida, maybe this guy. This guy's your fullback. Okay, but he's not good enough at the moment to be a fullback. His composure is 9, concentration 9. Can't play as a defensive midfielder. Still has a lot to develop. Can't shift left and right because he's gonna lose the ball. Then we got this guy. So how many central midfielders do you have? You only have 3. And all 3 are going to be in your first team. The rest of your central midfielders, Giannis Buzukis, right? Looks fantastic, right? Doesn't it? Value at 2.1 million. I'll sell him in a heartbeat. Why? Because he's got very bad balance. He's 9 for balance. He can't shift. So you got to work on his balance. 21 years old, his training has to be, you got to start working on his balance. Hope he develops over time. He's never going to help your players in terms of tackling. His teamwork is okay. He comes back, but his bravery is low, so he might not go in for a charge. Sometimes you watch the game. Have you noticed that the ball just goes past players, nobody tackles? That's because they got low bravery, right? So they either have low bravery, low balance. They might not be able to shift in time to meet the challenge. Anticipation could be low. Concentration can be low. So he's got all of them low. So take your pick. Which of these is affecting him? So he's got a lot of things affecting him as a player that is with it. Because when you are a team that wants to overachieve, bravery, work rate, determination, they've got to be there. Sometimes you see me, right? I overachieve a lot of teams because I focus on the attributes that matter for the positions I'm playing them in. Those are the attributes I zoom in for. So every time I want to support a player, he's got to have work rate, he's got to have bravery, he's got to have positioning. There are no two ways about it. The moment I put S on you, you have to have those 3 attributes. So here, he can't play in an S position. He can only play as an attacking player. So he could play in a 4-3-1-2. But then, that presupposes that you have good defenders. Because if you play with a 4-3-1-2, your 2 central defenders have to be good. Right? If they're not good, don't play a 4-3-1-2 because you open your middle up to attacks. Alright, so we have that situation now with your 3 midfielders. Now I'm looking at your defenders. So defenders, we haven't got much of a choice. You got a player that you're on loan, so he's probably quite good. Jump finish is 16, very good. Will be playing most of your games. You got decent, but this guy's concentration needs to improve before he becomes, you can consider him. His acceleration is terrible. He's got a long way to go before he becomes a half decent defender. Achilles Pungoras is not that bad. Composure is terrible. So if you're playing as a high defensive line, he's going to be a liability. Now, this is going to surprise many of you. Why am I saying that? Well, I'm looking. Okay, when you play with a high defensive line, you play out defense, right? And then another thing besides, hey, when you play out defense on prevent shot goalkeeper distribution, they got to put one guy right on his face. When he's got one guy right on his face, he needs composure to be able to play under pressure. He doesn't have composure, he's going to lose the ball. So this player is got a long way to go before he can play like that. Then we got. So as I look at your players and I go like your defenders, you got maybe 1 or 2 that you're going to be playing with all the time. So yeah, you got to develop your players. You got Matthias Johansson who can play on the right. We got a few players. This guy has a long way to go, so he's got to develop his mentals. Don't worry about 18 years old forcing to play them, right? You can play them 1 or 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, maybe maximum about 10 to 12 games. But the more time they spend training, they'll develop. So these guys are okay. So we got Costas Apostol. Okay, he's also so you've got a lot of issues at the back line. Either they have low acceleration or they have low mentals. So the moment you want to play inverted wingback, that's it, game over. Those guys are not going to be in the position that they are supposed to be during the defensive transition. So if you want to play a system which has got inverted wingbacks, your fullbacks have to be smart and they have to be fast. Right? That's very important. If they're neither, you don't play inverted wingbacks. That's like you're gonna have major issues with this. So we're looking at your players. We are in a very challenging area when it comes to your players. So what do we do with these players, right? So how do we play them? First, we look at your training calendar. I noticed you've got some decent. I mean, you're basically using some of my schedules, which is not too bad. Okay, now we've gone through your team. Identify quickness is an issue. So you're looking at this. I mean, it's nice that people are using my schedules, but let's focus on one thing. Physical and quickness now has to be added to your schedule all the way. So every week you're gonna know physical and quickness. So you gotta add it somewhere. So generally, once you have tactical familiarity, you can sacrifice these two. But right now, I'm looking at this. I'm going, okay, this is recovery after the first game. I'll put ground defense here. I'll put physical here, general, physical, and then I will do maybe. I definitely have to do quickness. This team needs to do quickness, right? So we do quickness on. We'll just sacrifice this and we just do quickness. So we have to start doing physical and quickness every single week. So we're gonna have to get those players working on those attributes, because these attributes are really important for your team. If you've got acceleration, agility, got balance, work rate, stamina, aerial reach. These are things that your team needs: quickness, acceleration, agility, and pace. So you're gonna add this in every week for your team. Yes, it looks like this is something that you have to do for your team. So you gotta design training schedules. I mean, it's all fine and dandy. We download other people's training schedules, but they gotta fit your team. Like for my Staley Bridge Diaries, I'm more focused on decisions and visions because that's what my team lacks. Now, here, your team is very bad in the physical category, so you got to start looking at improving those attributes. Now, what about your facilities? I'm looking at your club, and I'm going through your club, and I'm going, okay, your facilities, well, these are decent facilities, but you can't improve them just yet. That's the downside of it. You can improve your youth recruitment. Yes, you can go to the board and ask them for expanding your youth recruitment. Okay, but where will you do that? Networking, increase scouting range. I think there is one for youth recruitment, right? Increase your youth. Is there somewhere when it shows up? Increase junior coaching budget will improve the quality of your players coming through the tiers. But can you do it now? No, you can't, because you're running at a loss. So your board is probably going to say no. So you got to start running at a profit now. So that's very important. So in order for you to do that, you have to go out there and get more players. Haha, how do you do this? Go to your scouting. This is where you have to invest in a different area of the game. This area. Okay. Your scouting team is large enough according to your board. Now let's see if we can increase the number of staff for your scouts. Coaches allowed? Not yet. Okay, so you're not going to get any from there. So let's go to scouting. Let's identify areas that you've been scouting. What are your assignments? Your assignments so far: analyze next opposition, World Cup, Asian qualifying section. You got 6 here. Okay, fine, that's okay. Then you've got current assignment. No current assignment, no current assignment, no current assignment, no current assignment. You have to create assignments where you're looking for hot prospects, right? Add condition, value 0. See if they can turn up anybody who's got a value of 0. If one of your scouts goes out and does that, so then after that, what you can do is you can do this. You can go to player search and then do a filter here. Pick all those who are value 0 and try and see whether you can sign them in. Right. This will include youth players as well as senior players. Don't disregard the senior players as well. What about these youngsters? Should you be bringing them into the first team? 16, 17, 18, don't bother. If they're 22, 19, maybe you should start thinking about bringing them into the first team. If they're for positions that you need filling, and if their attributes are decent. If they're not, then you have to start thinking of this as a place from which you are selling off your players. Don't hang on to any of your players. You bring them in, either you play them or you sell them. Now, this player, I probably play him because his attributes are actually better than some of the players in the first team. This player has the potential to become a better Mazala than what you have in the first team. So how I trade him? I will just trade him as a Mazala straight away. Right? Because we have a plan. We want to use you as a Mazala, so trade him as a Mazala. Move this guy to the first team. You need him in the first team. He's better than what you have in the first team at the moment. So you will move him into the first team. And then you're looking for other players that are on par or have attributes that are very close to being good enough for the first team. Why? Because this player, you got to become a selling club, right? So you got to develop these players, and then somebody might take notice of a player who's 18 years old and playing well. Then they'll go in, and that's when you start chunking in like 8 million, 9 million, 10 million. You got to start selling players off for 8 million, 7 million, 8 million, and some of the youngsters who are potentially 5 stars can get you that kind of money. So this is what you want to do early. Now, if you have a chance to mentor him in the main team, that will be good too. So now if I go to the main team, let's look at your training, and then we look at your mentoring. Now you've got a lot of mentoring going on. Rezu, this is fine, average, light. This is good. This is a group you shouldn't bother with. Why? Because fairly loyal. Cristino, no, he's gonna affect all these other. These are not that bad, right? Fairly ambitious is okay. So this group, you don't need to mentor this group. So this group is c'est la vie, adios amigos. Okay, now we got this group. There's a lot of players in this group. Now, balance, fairly low. Who's the one that's going to affect that? Fairly professional. But do you need all these players? Don't have too many. You have a few. So, who doesn't need to be in this group? Fairly determined, you can take him out. How old is he? He's 18 years old. Fairly professional, fairly determined, they can work together. Okay, then we've got a couple of players here. Diego Poye, cost pressure group, ambitious, light influence. So let's just remove this, ask the assistant to assign. This is a much better group than yours. Okay, because the assistant got it right. Significant average. This is a very good. If there's a Crystal Donner significant, please. When it comes to mentoring, just let the assistant take over. Okay, he does the right thing. Okay, a resolute, very loyal. This group doesn't need to be mentored. So you got this one group. That's it. C'est la vie. It's that easy. Mentoring is not difficult. Okay, now you can add one player to this. The youngster we saw earlier, you can put him into this group. So we've done this. Now we also sorted out your training. I've gone to your team report. Your team report says that your club is okay, but if you want to be in the Champions League, you want to be a force, you want to be a contender, 15 is the average that you need to get, right? So finances, you got a long way to go to become a selling club. You only got one group of players. So how did your team actually do in the run-up? We didn't do too badly. We weren't fantastic, but we were okay. We played 3 games. We won all of them 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. The challenge for your team is actually who do you play with. Now, you had 3 tactics. I've actually deleted. I didn't use this tactic, and I didn't use this tactic. I ended up using this original Ironhide. Now, I like Ironhide. I changed one thing. I just changed the role of this guy to a sweeper, keeper, and support. You have players who can play in these positions, and this is it. Basically, these are your players. The other option is PCs can play here, and you through this, the other player can play here. Other than that, that's it. Nobody else can play because you don't have the players for it, right? You don't even, all the other players are either low bravery, or the thought of using a 4-1-2-3 was scary because those players have no bravery, and they're not fast enough to come back. And this guy he's okay, his balance he needs help. But you don't give him help, he's gonna struggle. So Morilla is stuck on the left flank because he has a work rate, he's got some acceleration. His bravery is a bit low, but at least, I'm hoping that he just puts a body here. It's not enough, it's not ideal. I was actually toying with the idea of playing with him instead. Vangelis Oik Onomu as a winger. So we have a winger. Then in the Mazala position, we ended up playing with Donis. But the problem with this Donis is we want really an attack duty to have more acceleration. So he has to work on his acceleration. That's why the other boy looks quite interesting once you develop him. Then we got this player. No one else can play in this position. This position is just his. No one else should be sitting in this DLP position because no one is good enough to play here. Most of the other players that you have are all going to have low bravery. Let's look at one of your lone players setting back because he's not going to help you out. He's got poor bravery. He doesn't know what to do half the time when he gets the ball, but he wants to switch the ball to the other flank. So you don't want him to do that, okay? Because he doesn't have good decisions. What if he decides to switch the ball to the other flank? There's no one there. Okay? And it's very like it can actually happen to him. Okay, so we got this guy Mounier who can play on the left flank, but you got between the two devils, you got Morilla and Mounier. I went for Morilla. So some of the other players are so, but you definitely have to start looking at expanding your team, bringing the youngsters, getting them 1 or 2 game time, get some attention, be able to sell them, slowly get yourself up the table. And you got to use a tactic that allows you to at least punch above your weight. So if we're using the Ironhide system with all these roles here, we got inverted winger, DLP, Mazala, winger, anchorman, wingback, ball playing defender, central defender, fullback and support with these instructions. And how did we do in your matches? Well, we weren't that bad, right? Some of the games, this game we dominated large parts. In the end, we got a penalty after a run by one of your players. We were dominant over this Larissa team for like I don't know how long. In fact, at one point our possession numbers almost 80%. And I think it was during this attacking move that Kovastis gets the ball, gets it to Donis. You can see the Mazala is nice and wide. Then Morilla runs up. Andre brings the ball out to Okonomo then played it to Donis. And then we had a challenge here. And then after you had a free kick. And then they committed, I think, a penalty inside. There was a foul here. And then we got a penalty which your boys converted. It was okay. Because honestly, I'd rather play with a system that I can suss teams out with. Then we play Aris in the next match. Again, it was another midfielder that came to score. Christos Donis. And again, we were camped in the opponent's half and we were trying. But this was off a throw, so I was not like jumping up and down. Donis got smashed into the bottom corner of the net. Okay, then we played Tripoli again. Another 1-0. This time, finally, we got a striker to score the goal. And this was not too bad, actually. This movement was exactly what I wanted in the system because it's got hit early crosses, right? So Ironhide plays with hit early crosses. What we want to do is I want you to watch what these two did. Because against defensive sides, I typically like to overlap with my boys. No, they're defensive. What the hell? They're not coming out. So this is what we faced with Tripoli, and they weren't coming out. So we asked both of these guys to overlap. So you can see Johansson overlapping. Elias is here. Morilla is here. So Andre is playing the ball forward. Now, watch what happens. Okay, Andre gets the ball. Morilla goes forward. This guy is going to come up in support. He's a wingback on attack. Now, they play a pass back to each other. Pass to you, pass to you, pass to you, and get this early cross. We want to create opportunities where you create very, very good chances. So Morilla drove a perfect cross to Mimidis, and Mimidis scored. You see, if the team starts playing more and more, and you get the right players for your system, you get more and more you get a lot more of these kind of goals. The only drawback, the only thing that's holding you back at the moment is the Mazala position, right? So the Mazala, when you use a Mazala, especially if he's on attack duty, he needs acceleration. He needs to get inside the box. He needs good decision making. He needs good off the ball. Then he'll need finishing and composure. So this guy is okay. He's not the best. You just have to develop others to come in. Why didn't we pick any other player? Because the other players don't want to tackle. So like, you got a left wing that needs help, right? So you don't have many options. So we did okay with this tactic. I'm hoping that over time you can develop your team, use your scouts to the best of your ability to find other talented players and develop your own players. You have one player, and I like him, this guy. This guy has a lot of potential. Now, 17 years old, he should already be playing in your first team. Because he's got the one Mazala trait I love. Runs with ball through center. And he's got 10. So train him as a Mazala and use it. Because then, you got to do is, in training, I'll work on his box-to-box midfielder. Then I'll do quickness. And then make sure his intensity is double. So quickness is going to work on this, which we need eventually, because we want him to get into our position area as a player trait. You won't be able to teach him get into our position area if his acceleration is low, right? So this is something, and then you gotta, his first touch has to go up, so he's going to do it. Off the ball has to go up as well. So this guy has a lot of potential. I would play him from the start, so you shouldn't be leaving him on the bench. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Game Changer. I was hoping that I could offer you 7-0, 6-0 wins, but sometimes we have to learn how to grind out our results, make ourselves tough to beat, put ourselves in a position to at least make it hard for other teams to beat us. Then at the end of the day, we can move up the table and get some attention for our performances. Panathinaikos is expected to finish in 5th position. We are currently on a 3-match winning streak. So I think that if with the right players and the right approach, you could definitely win the title. But then after that, it depends on how you've set your long-term plans up. You got to use your scouts a lot more effectively. Your scouting is still got a couple of scouts doing nothing. For your scouting assignments, you had 3. See, the thing is here, you're not using all your scouts. I actually went in there and created one more assignment, okay, for one of your scouts, right? So he's gonna look for known talent, but these 3 guys have no current assignment. You should be sending your scouts out to look for players who can play in your first team and possibly are available on a free signing. So you gotta be looking at enhancing your team. I mean, honestly, you probably could win the title with this team, right? But if you want to go further, you got to become a selling club. Sometimes you get these free signings and you bring them in, they play for a couple of matches, and then after somebody goes, hey, I like that player, man. You just got him for 0 and you're selling for 1 million. That's still better than where you are right now, because financially, you got to get these numbers up, man, if you want to be a Champions League, contender, because your projection here says that you're losing 3.1 million in this season. So you got to get this number up. And to get this number up, you got to start playing with the transfer game. You got to be a buyer, seller, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Game Changer. If you have any questions, please look me up on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I want to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You make this kind of shows possible for the rest of the community. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.